Hey everyone, it's Samantha again, and today I have decided that I wanted to do my first makeup tutorial, and I wanted to actually show my go-to neutral makeup. This is a staple that I go for when I know I want to look presentable. It's not going to be super glam and it's not going to be natural. This is something I actually rocked the other day and I really liked it. I feel like there's a couple little twists that I use on my makeup routine that I feel stands out from the typical everyday neutrals. So hopefully the tutorial I'm about to show you enjoy, and if you do, consider subscribing. Okay, so to begin the tutorial, I'm sorry if I keep looking at the camera frame, it's very distracting, so I'm going to try my best not to. But to begin the tutorial, I'm going to show you every product that I use up close, so that way you have an idea of the color and what the product looks like. So we're going to go ahead and do everything because this is my first tutorial. I just want to give just kind of a breakdown of everything that I use. So normally the first thing I'm going to do, since my face is completely bare, I have nothing on, I'm going to go ahead and use the e.l.f. Hello Hydration Face Cream. Looks like that. And I've been using this for a few weeks and I do like it. It's been my everyday, almost day and night. Get my mirror fixed. And I'm going to try my very best to act normal because this does not feel very normal, but I'm sure within time, you know, it'll become more natural. But right now, it does not feel very natural. Putting on my makeup without a camera, yes, very natural. But with the camera and then later on watching myself talk is it can be a little bit uncomfortable, but I'm sure it'll just become more natural. I really like how this feels. It does provide a pretty decent amount of hydration. I mean, I'm still on the hunt for something that can provide a little bit more, considering the weather right now is a mixture of, we're getting spring and winter and wind and some humidity, so the weather is not stable at this point, and it can be dry too, so you know, everyone's allergies and skin is probably going a little crazy right now. So I like to kind of just take my time when I'm doing my moisturizer and just really work it into the skin, press it in there if needed to. I just like the way it feels too. So already I kind of feel like I'm already seeing a pretty decent glow that you know, that it's gonna provide. So okay, next I probably should do this because last time I tried doing this I forgot my eye cream. So I'm gonna use the e.l.f. Illuminating Eye Cream. And I just figure I'm kind of like weird, kind of OCD in a sense of like, if I have a particular item, I have to get like the matching item, if that makes sense. So e.l.f. cream, eye cream, the e.l.f. eye cream. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put just a couple little dots under there. But yeah, I just kind of feel like I want to get the most out of it by using the same brand. And so far, I mean, it's not going to be like that for everything, but so far this is working out really good. Just gonna take my time dabbing that in underneath my eyes. Okay, so that's nice. So moving on, now that my moisturizer has soaked into my skin pretty nicely, I'm going to go ahead and move in with primer. And the primer I like to use is the BECCA Backlight Priming Filter. I've had this for quite some time and I'm honestly just trying to use up my products at this point. That is my 2020 resolution goal for a lot of things in this house. It's not just makeup. I am trying to use up all my products before I go and buy new ones, because I'm just on this weird kick right now where, you know, you spend so much money on products, and then for what? Just for them to sit there? And that applies to everything: makeup, house cleaning products, food, hair products, you name it. It looks like I might need to purchase another one because this does not want to pump any out. So I'm only able to get about that much, a little pea size, which is probably plenty. And I'm gonna go ahead, and I would apply this anywhere or everywhere, more like it, but I'm just gonna focus this on more like the high points. So I like a nice glowy forehead, so I'm gonna do that. And I don't know if I mentioned, but this primer is it's a glowing primer, and it is going to provide a lot of luminosity to the skin, and I love that. So let's go ahead and do eyebrows. Okay, so the eyebrow product I'm going to use is the LA Girl pomade, brow pomade. And I'm going to go ahead and just use this Sephora eyebrow. It's not an eyebrow, it's an angled eyeliner brush, but we're going to use it as an eyebrow brush. I'm sure this part will be sped up. I'm confident in my husband, who's going to edit this for me. I'm going to learn eventually how to edit, but he's really into it right now. So I'm going to trust that he'll somehow speed this part up, because I'm sure this is going to be too long. Just to kind of briefly, so it's not all silence throughout this eyebrow part, there's really nothing to it with my brows. I mean, I have a decent amount of hair on my brows. It's pretty bald in some areas, so it really doesn't take a whole lot for me to fill that in. And this is just a quick, I'm using kind of quick little swiping motions doing it. It just depends the mood I'm in, if I wanted to create more hair-like brows. But for today, I'm in the mood for just drawn on eyebrows. I'm still gonna keep the effect a little bit soft in the front, and just add, again, kind of stroking my brush. And we'll clean up the brow. But I mean, this isn't the greatest brow product, but I feel like it's you know, it's got its days where it's working really good and where it's not working really good. So again, I'm gonna use up this product as much as I can until I move on to the next one. So I'm sure that'll be pretty soon, because this product is drying out on me pretty bad. Okay, so the brows are on. I'm pretty satisfied on how they look. So the next thing I like to do is I like to shape them out a little bit more. Some parts need some cleaning up, so I'm going to show you how much actually concealer I use, because I don't use very much. I just want to clean it, not so much sharpen the brows. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm going to use just a regular concealer. I'm not going to be using this today under my eyes. I'm going to use a new concealer that I have that I've never tried before. But any concealer will work. Typically, I would stick with a concealer that's the same skin or the same shade as your foundation, because it's going to look kind of silly if you're using a really, you know, light concealer. It's just, I don't know, sometimes it's tricky because if you don't blend it out right, it's gonna look kind of stripy under there. So I barely a dot, and I'm just using a, what is this, a Sephora flat eyeliner brush. So apparently I like eyeliner brushes for my brows, so this works pretty good. And I'm just gonna basically I'm just fixing what I see that needs cleaning. I'm not really going to even go underneath the entire brow. I don't feel like it's necessary for me because I didn't get too messy right now. So just barely cleaning it up. That's it. That's all I needed to do, and the brows are pretty darn clean looking, so no further needed to go with that. Okay, so the next thing, now that we're done with the brows finally, I'm gonna move on with the eyes. So I'm gonna use this concealer again. I've never used a eyeshadow primer, and for one, it's because I forget and to actually purchase one, and two, concealer works just fine for me for now. So until I see that my shadow is acting up, then I'm gonna go ahead and use a eyeshadow primer. So I'm just gonna barely use any, and this is mostly because I have some veins that I want to conceal. So I'm just gonna dab that. Okay, so for eyeshadow, I'm gonna go ahead and use the Morphe 25B palette, and I'm gonna go ahead and first dip into this caramely brown shade, and I'm gonna just add that to my crease. And I'm using a Morphe M505 blending brush. Don't mind me, I'm looking at my daughter. So right now I'm just gonna go ahead and lightly continue buffing that color into the crease. And I don't want it to be too heavy of a color because this is more, the look I'm going for is just more of a soft, neutral look. This is my go-to look. I probably already said that in the beginning of the video, but this is a look, and I did this look the other day too. I kind of just tweaked it a little bit and I really liked it. Typically I would just stop. Sometimes I would just stop right here and go in with mascara, and I just found that to be, you know, every day it just got, not every day, but every time I did an easy eye makeup, it just started to look boring. So I was like, okay, let me see what I can dip into here and just make the eyes look a little more interesting, but not without overdoing it with eyeliner. Okay, so the next shade I'm going to use, so again I used that one in the crease, and then I'm going to use, it's kind of more of a neutral going towards a cool tone brown. So I'm just gonna barely tap into there because I don't want this to be super warm. Kind of want a mix of warm and cool tone. And I'm just gonna kind of stick that one in the, and I'm sorry, I don't know if I mentioned this. This is a Morphe M441. So when it comes to makeup looks, whether it's neutral or super glam, I've always been the type where I like to stick to minimal, or I try minimal products, but brushes, just try to keep it simple in the same family. That way I know, you know, I know what works for me. So I'm just always going to end up going to those particular few brushes. Although I want to try more, it's just, sometimes it's like when you know what brush works for you, then you're just going to stick with it. But I'm open to trying more brushes. But I just like to shop for makeup more than brushes. So I'm in a dilemma right now. Like, do I spend my money on brushes or makeup? Okay, so for the lid shade, I'm going to go ahead and go in with this color. So we'll try again for that nap. But right now I'm just going to go ahead and apply that color. I'm not being too precise. I never am. Unless I'm being very serious that day and want my look to be extra perfected. But for the sake of an everyday go-to neutral look, this works out for me. Okay, so next I'm gonna go ahead and apply some mascara. First, let's go ahead and curl the lashes. I'm gonna use it's a Japanese eyelash curler. Okay, so now my lashes are curled. And I didn't explain this earlier, but the reason why on a day-to-day, basis, when I'm rocking this look, I don't typically use falsies. I just stick with mascara. I'll do a second coat and it works out great for me. I have pretty long lashes, so I can kind of get away with it. So the first mascara I'm going to use is the L'Oreal Telescopic Carbon Black Mascara. Been using this for years and I probably will continue to until they stop making it. So I really like it because the wand is pretty thin and it really just concentrates the product at the root of my lash. Now I can't imagine if my wand was big, I'd probably be poking my eye all the time, because I still do with this one, but this works great. And I'm just gonna stick with doing one coat right now. So hopefully I can show you the difference. Okay. So that is one coat of mascara. A light coat. So let's go ahead and do the other one. Let me see. I'm going to go ahead and use the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. And I have been enjoying this primer. I've been hearing and watching a lot of videos of people saying that the primer performs just like the Tatcha one. I have never tried Tatcha products, so I have other sprays that work pretty darn good and give me a great effect. So I'm just kind of working this into my pores, kind of pressing it in. And I believe this product recommends to wait about a minute. Let it sit for about a minute, and then you can go ahead and work on your foundation. So that's been working out great. So I'm gonna go ahead and let the primer sit on my skin for 1 minute. Okay, next I'm gonna go ahead and go in with foundation, and the foundation I'm gonna use is the L'Oreal Infallible 24-hour fresh wear foundation, and I'm in the shade 440. And I'm almost out of this foundation, which tells you I really like it. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this a good little shake. So I have been trying to educate myself in more makeup videos, and I've been watching this, his name's Robert. I don't know if he said his last name before, but he has been what am I trying to say? I've been watching his videos, and I feel like I've been learning a few tips that are more on the profesh side. So one thing that he advised, or maybe this is just a pet peeve of his, but he recommends to not go in with the bottle and squirt it on you, because you tend to waste product. So I'm just gonna go ahead, I'm using the Luxie 532 round top blender brush, and the way I like to buff in my foundation is, well, I'm just kind of dabbing it in right now, because I want it to not just sit on top of the skin and look, you know, it tends to look cakey. I want it to like melt into my skin and be one with my real skin. So one thing I do, I always notice my mistakes later on. Sometimes my makeup, you can see like patches where I didn't blend out very well. So I try to pay attention to that pretty well. Make sure I blend pretty well into the hairline. Okay, next I'm gonna go ahead and go in with the e.l.f. 16-hour Camo Concealer. This is clearly a new product. I've never tried their e.l.f. concealers, but I noticed at the Target that I go to it was pretty low in stock, so I figured, you know, it's a good product, let me try it. And I've been hearing about it too. The only thing that I'm not too crazy about is, well, full coverage I do like for a concealer, but it's matte. And I just am concerned, is it gonna look a little creepy and dry underneath my eyes? But I'm gonna go ahead and apply some, and we'll go ahead and, oh, it's super thick. Super thick. Feels kind of nice though. My daughter, she's not letting me try it. Okay, take it, go, 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 go. Feels nice though. Feels like super creamy. Okay, you guys, we're gonna continue this makeup tutorial with a baby on my lap. Yeah, that's just how it is. Oh, also I like to, so that's how much concealer I like to apply underneath my eyes. I don't like to go too crazy with it, but I kind of want to apply some more because it feels nice. I'm gonna apply some on the ends, and that's all the concealer that I probably need. So I like to go in with a Morphe E8 buffing brush and just dab it in. Don't smear, dab. My daughter's eating my makeup brushes. So far so good. It's actually pretty, I probably picked up too much of a dark shade, but sometimes that's okay because I want to conceal the darkness underneath my eyes, and then if I need to brighten it up, I will dab like a tiny bit of a lighter concealer. But so far this is looking really, really good. Okay, so I feel like everything looks pretty good right now, but I want to go in with a sponge and just furthermore press and melt the concealer in my skin. I don't want my makeup to sit on top of my skin. I want it to be one with my skin. Okay, next I'm going to use the Too Faced Peach Perfect Translucent Powder. And this is what I like to set underneath my eyes. And it's not going to be so much underneath my eyes. It's going to be right there. Ooh. Went in my mouth. It tastes like peach. Where's my brush? We need to buff this out and I can't find my brush. Okay, so I'm just gonna ever so lightly just buff that. Okay. Oh my goodness, I promise I'm gonna try and be, well, I can't promise anything right now. So next I'm gonna use the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder. I am very intrigued with this powder. So let's give it a try. And I'm using the shade Light. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and swirl some of the powder. I'm having a hard time seeing if it's actually providing, okay, maybe I see it more on my forehead, but a glow. I don't know. I mean, I like the way it feels. It feels super, super thin, but I'm just gonna have to play with that powder a little bit more. Okay, so next I'm gonna go ahead and use the Revolution Pro Sculpt and Glow contour powder. And now I'm going to use the L'Oreal bronzer, and this is in the shade, what shade are you in? Medium. And I'm just going to use I don't know what brush this is because the name is completely rubbed off, but it's just a really soft, fluffy brush. And I want it to be extra fluffy, except especially for bronzer, because I don't want any harsh lines. I want it to be very soft. Okay, so next I'm going to go ahead and do the eyeliner. I'm not using a liquid gel eyeliner or pen eyeliner or anything like that. I'm going to go ahead and use a pencil liner. This is a NYX Golden Bronze eyeliner, and I also have the gold one, which we'll use in a little bit. But basically I'm just using this product because I want to apply some shadow, but I kind of want some tackiness as I apply the shadow, because if I just go in with a brush and eyeshadow, it doesn't, like, I find it coming off later on. So I need something tacky and sticky. One thing that I like, and I kind of felt like it made my eyes stand out a little bit more than normal, instead of going in with like a typical brown or black shadow, I like to do something more like a color such as this one, kind of like a dark plum color, and I feel like that really made my eyes pop. It's just like a flat little, probably another eyeliner brush. No, it says flat definer. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with the plummy color. And I use different shades. I would use different shades. I'm not gonna always go for this one because I think the other day I used a different one, but I'm gonna go ahead and just tap the shade onto the liner. And I also like doing this trick because, again, I got so bored of the, you know, brown in the crease and then mascara. It just was such a boring look after a while. It's doable, but it just got boring for me. I was like, okay, I'm tired of this look. So just to kind of switch it up and play with, you know, with my shadows a little bit more, I was like, what can I do? And I like this plummy color. And I like it too because it's already adding some definition to my eye. Okay, so now that I have defined my eyes with the shadow, I'm going to go ahead, before I forget, I'm going to use a second coat of mascara. I'm just using the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. And I'm just doing a light coat. This is my second coat, but we're going to make this a light coat. So far I kind of feel like I'm talking a lot, and I feel like I'm also getting lost with what I'm supposed to do. Like, I feel like I don't know how to do my makeup all of a sudden. So again, bear with me because this is my first time actually doing a makeup tutorial. I feel a little bit like, I feel weird right now. I still feel a little weird, but not as weird as the beginning. But I'm sure I will get the flow of applying my makeup, explaining products, and so on. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna use blush, and I'm gonna use the LA Girl Just Blushing. Surprisingly, I really like this, and I go for this blush more than my high-end expensive blushes. The shade is called Just Glowing, and I would describe the shade as, it's like a mid-tone peach color, so it's not super light. So let's go ahead and look at that a little bit better. It's like a mid-tone peach with a bronze undertone. That's probably why I like it, because it's not too bright. I kind of like using those more for the summertime when I have a nice tan. And I love using this blush for every day. Okay, so for highlight, I'm going to use the Anastasia Beverly Hills, the Amrezy palette. I got very excited when I first got this because I'm a huge fan of Amrezy. So let's go ahead and apply it. And for me specifically, to not get too crazy with the highlighter because it can look a little crazy sometimes, I'm going to focus my product basically at the highest part of my cheekbone, and then I'm going to start working it into my temple, a little bit on the outskirts of my brow, and just continue buffing my brush. So I do like to apply highlighter on my nose, above my lip and on my chin. I feel like it gives it that like glossy, I'm kind of sweating look. But if you want to tone it down, just grab your damp sponge, and what the sponge is going to do is just further blend the highlighter into the skin so it's not too much. Okay, so now that's done, I'm going to go ahead and use the Anastasia, gosh, this is faded as well. It's in taupe though. I'm sure you may have seen this newer product, or at least I think it's new. And basically I like this because it's gonna tame my hairs and brush them up, because I am into that slightly bushy look. Hopefully that doesn't look too crazy, but and we're almost done. So the next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use the NYX Glitzy Gold eyeliner, and I'm gonna apply that in my waterline. And I feel like this is another one of those products that make your everyday, you know, neutral or everyday makeup stand out. Instead of going with a nude or a black or a brown, why not go in with something a little bit, it's a little bit more on the neutral side, going towards like a nude color, but it's gold and it's really pretty. And I feel, again, ouch, I really feel like it makes the eyes pop. So the plum color and the gold look really good. Okay, to finish off the eyes, I'm gonna go ahead and dust some of that first color we used, the caramel color that we used in the crease. And I just want this more so that way the gold liner can pop just a little bit more and it's not so bare under here. Okay, so I don't want to finish it here, so I'm gonna go ahead and tap into that cool tone brown that we use in the outer part of the crease, because I want everything to kind of just be you know, kind of matching and it makes sense. Okay, so the third mascara I'm going to use is this tube right here, and I don't remember where I got this from, but it's by Wander Beauty. I like this specifically just for my lower lashes, because I want my lower lashes to look more fluffy and feathery and not so, you know, I would rather, again, look feathery and fluffy and not so clumpy. The top ones can get away with it, but the bottom ones, I want them to look a little bit more just not so clumpy. Okay, and next I'm gonna go in with lip liner, and the lip liner I'm gonna use is NYX, the retractable lip liner in Sand Beige. I've gone through probably about 10 of these. I love the colors so much. Sometimes it can pull off a little too warm, so I'm still on the hunt for something that's a little bit more cool toned. But I do like this one. So I like to draw those lines down the center and the side, and I actually do feel like it makes a difference, because once I apply the lighter lipstick, it really creates an illusion that this is more, you know, puffed out, fuller looking. So the lipstick, oh my god, the thing's all messed up. It's in, I think, Honey Pink, and it's by Maybelline. Looks like that. And this is a matte formula. So sometimes, because as I said, my lips are pretty chapped, sometimes I just like to go in and rub the product with my finger so it creates more of a creamy texture, and I'll just dab that in on my lips. Because if I just go in with the tube, sometimes I feel like it's dragging against my chapped lips, and then it's like lifting off like dead skin, and then the look is ruined. I'm gonna go ahead, so because I'm not wearing falsies, I want my lashes to be curled, so I'm gonna go ahead and curl my lashes. Okay, and the last thing I'm going to use is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus spray. And I'm running out, I'm just trying to use whatever's left. So, and I want this mostly because the powder I applied earlier is kind of sitting on my skin, and I kind of want it to dissolve a little bit more. Okay, and before I forget, let me go ahead and apply a little bit of a highlight in the inner parts, because I'm like looking at my eyes, I'm like, it looks good, but something's missing, which is this, and I typically do forget this. Okay, so that completes the look. I'm just kind of overviewing to see what I need to touch up, but this looks like how I would do my makeup, and I would be up and ready to leave the house. I really feel like, you know, my brown eyes are standing out more because that plum color is sitting on top, and the gold is, it's just a good contrast. I feel like it looks really good, and I like it. This is the look that I pretty much rocked the other day. Okay, so that completes the look. I'm really pleased with how I did the look. Again, this is the kind of look that I would do if I was ready to step out and run errands, go have some lunch or dinner. This is just a slight twist on an everyday makeup look because we're adding the slightest color. We're adding some plum on the upper lid as liner and gold in the inner part of the eye. And I really feel like that makes the eyes really pop as opposed to just sticking with browns and blacks and nudes, which is, I like those, but I feel like those can be a little repetitive. So it's nice to switch it up with some bronzy colors, gold colors, plum colors. Even I would assume like a dark like green on the upper eyeliner lid would look really good. So but yeah, so if you do like the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. That would mean a lot to me considering I'm a newbie here. So if there's anything that you would like to see, let me know. I plan on making or doing a hair tutorial next, and then hopefully afterwards I can do a Valentine's look. So again, thank you for watching, and hopefully we get to see each other again soon. Bye.